Hello
Welcome back.
to A Court of Witches. We're still reading A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas.
It is quite long.
And we talk a lot. So.
And bear with us as we bear with ourselves.
Oh my god. So, at the end of the last chapter, we're in the summer court. And Reese is distracting Cressida. And at the end of the chapter, they're getting off of the pleasure barge or whatever they called it. And Reese and Cressida are nowhere to be seen. That's the last sentence. And I'm just wondering, Feyre is walking back into the castle or whatever it's called here. And she's like, there's no sounds coming out of Reese's room, blah, 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 blah. And she's thinking about how she misses Valaris. She misses the cozy warmth of the townhouse to welcome her from the crisp winter. And she's like, maybe wrapping his wings around me, writing me notes had been Reese's way of ensuring his weapon didn't break beyond repair. So basically she's being insecure and down on herself. And I'm just like, she's so traumatized that she can't even recognize love when it's happening.
Right.
Like, he's protecting you and doing all this to help you because he loves you. But she's just completely oblivious and so insecure, which happens. I mean, that's trauma response, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just like, Feyre, get it together.
I don't even know where we're at.
That was page 327.
I guess I'm on page 330. So
I have something on 329.
You go.
Okay. I love that Nuala matches Feyre's outfit to Tarquin. That's such a subtle thing, but I feel like he probably noticed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably a big deal to him because they're all so steeped in tradition.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And she's so mad right now at Reese.
Yes.
That she's being petty towards him. And what is it? On there, he was talking about how they're gonna go see all of these different areas. What is it called? The jewels, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And let's see. She does not do much of anything except for look at Reese and go, "See you later," and then walks away hand in hand with Tarquin. Not even "Hi Lord, love you," blah 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 kind of crap. Don't fucking talk to me. I'm pissed off at you. Whatever you did with her, that whore, that harlot.
Not even a good morning. How was your night? Just see you later.
Mm-hmm. And then she feels it get brushed up against her bond, and she's just nope, ignored.
And she says, it felt an awful lot like the dark flickering emotion that had haunted me. Yes, that emotion that you're feeling and that Reese is feeling, it's jealousy.
Yeah.
You guys are jealous of each other and all your flirtations with these other people. Get your shit together.
And she stepped a bit closer to Tarquin, and then she gave the High Lord of Summer a pretty mindless smile that I had not given to anyone in a long time. And that comes back to not necessarily haunt her, but that comes back later on. And there was a brush of emotion on the other side of the bond, and she's like, good. So my thing was, I wonder if Reese was hurt by her actions or not.
I feel like they're both jealous and they're both being petty because they're jealous. And
yeah.
It's just irritating.
Because it's that brush of emotion, it's just emotion. It doesn't specify which one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think they're jealous.
So 332 and 333, I have two things that kind of go together. So I like Tarquin. He has good plans and ideas for the future. And I think that he and Reese could be good allies if it weren't for, the whole stealing the book thing.
Yeah.
But also, he's smart because he says to Feyre as they're talking, I think he was her whore to shield us from her full attention. So, like, he sees what Rhys was doing. Like,
right. And if it wasn't for that, I don't think Rhys would have actually did what he did to that, like, person, like, read his mind and then just, like, completely broke it.
Right.
I don't think he wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for.
Yes. Yes. I only have one more thing for the whole chapter, and it's on 336.
I have 2 more things.
Okay.
I got 334. So I put Tarquin is a very smart for a young High Lord, and I think it's because of how he thinks and like what he thinks about Rhys and all of that. Like he's not letting that like deep feud between the Night Court and every other court in Prythian get the better of him. He's literally just like, he probably had his reasons, whatever.
Right. And he's thinking for himself rather than following what everyone else says.
Traditions.
Yeah. Fuck traditions, y'all. Okay.
Tamlin. Fuck Tamlin.
Yeah. Yeah, that too.
Let's see. And then I put on 337. Apparently there was a really great quote and I love it. Oh, to the stars who listen and the dreams that are answered. I fucking love that quote so much. But okay, that's not all of it. It's to the people who look at the stars and wish, to the stars who listen and the dreams that are answered. I want that tattooed. Because it's like, yeah, it's from the book, but I mean, it's got a deep meaning. It's for the dreamers.
Yeah.
What better?
I like how you said that smile got back under her skin. I commented on that on page 336. So like, they're like arguing with each other. Like, you seemed to enjoy yourself last night.
You smile.
Yeah, he literally is like, what got under my skin, Rhys said, his breathing a bit uneven, is that you smiled at him. And then she says, you're jealous. So like,
you are jealous.
And then like he starts talking about, well, you said it would be so easy to fall in love with him and you meant it. And she's like, so like it would be. It would be easy to fall in love with him. It would be easy to be with him, but like it wouldn't be passion. It wouldn't be real. It would just be easy.
And she's not saying that like that she does love him or care for him like that.
Right.
She's just saying that he's the kind of person that deserves all of this.
Yeah, he's a good person, basically. And life would be easy with him. And it would. But would she be happy?
No.
No. That's a very different...
Because they're not equals. And that's what the bond's all about.
It's a very different thing. I think that was the fastest we've gotten through a chapter in a while.
Which really scares me because I feel like not prepared. Because I feel like I didn't read enough.
No, I think we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Chapter 35... there was an analogy about cats and dogs, and now I need to find
it's Amren and Varian.
Yes, they're talking about Amren and Varian, and they're talking about being a cat and dog, and I'm just thinking about it.
A cat playing with a dog.
Yeah, a cat playing with a dog, because cats are so smart. And like you would think that in the cat versus dog situation, the dog is more intimidating and dangerous, but like no, it's actually the cat. And I love that.
My 2 dogs are absolutely terrified of my cat. And my dogs are smart in their own special way.
The exact quote is a cat playing with a dog. That's what it was. Amren was practically washing herself, silently daring him to get close enough to sniff. I doubted Varian would like her claws. And that's just the most accurate fucking thing. Like, yes.
It's just so good.
And then the next thing I have is on page 340.
I have 330 now.
Okay.
Oh, that's what it was. Amren and Varian have such a weird relationship. They hate each other, yet they're just always so close together. It's like a love-hate relationship. It's like, I love to be near you, but we're supposed to be enemies. That's all it was. 340.
So they're talking about Feyre figures out where the book is, or thinks she figures it out. She sees out, she's like heading to go back up the stairs, and she sees this little land, this little bit of land that's usually underwater when the tides are in, and there's a little tiny building, and she feels something, but she's not sure if it's the book. And I'm just like, I wrote, of course it's underwater. I feel like I should have seen that coming. Like,
summer, water. All
right. That felt really obvious once I realized it, but like.
Yeah. Honestly, this whole Adriata, like town, I just imagine it like similar to like a Spanish coastal town.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm
like stucco buildings. And...
yeah, and I just like it's kind of like hills, but in like no hills, and like down to the coast, and then just you can hear the water lapping up against it, and it's honestly making me excited for my move.
Right.
I just feel like I should be in like Spain on the edge of something great.
Where did I write that and why did I write that?
I got 342.
That's where I meant to. Oh, that's what I meant. Okay. I said, well, that gift clearly doesn't need much more practice. And I said it because she starts talking about the little building to Tarquin at lunch or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes
into his mind, right?
Yeah, she goes into his mind and like sends calming thoughts and like makes him change his mind and not worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jesus. Meanwhile,
listen,
Rhys was taking care of the other two.
They say she keeps saying Rhys is the most powerful High Lord in all of history. So part of that power is within her. So I mean, maybe...
it makes sense for that power to be the strongest. Yeah.
In the one power that's so unstable.
Yes.
Is the one from Spring Court.
Yes. Oh my god.
Oh, well, the tables have turned. Anyways, so I wrote something on 342.
Okay.
So she's talking about I don't know, what is it? So during that whole thing, she figures out like, yes, that's probably where the book is. Like everybody confirmed. So that they're, going on and on and on about this. Well, there are like mud is how she's like describing something. There's literally a lot of mud, like that's surrounding it and that she's going to have to go through to like get to wherever this is, because it's underwater. Obviously, like underwater, all that stuff's going to have a lot of mud. And I put, after her worm experience, I would be surprised if she ever got into mud again.
Right. Oof.
Like willingly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably another thing that Rhys would have her do. Like, survive.
Right. Just to test or like
face your fears.
Yes. Let's see here.
I didn't write this, but I just read it on the next page. Tarquin goes, "We'll meet after breakfast unless Rhysand wants me for more meetings." And then Rhysand waves a lazy hand. "By all means, Tarquin, spend the day with my lady." And she's like, "My lady?"
All the pettiness, all of it. And then I like how on page 345, they are talking about their plans. And like, Rhys is like, "I'm going to fly you guys there because if we winnow, there could be silent alarms and yada, 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 yada." And then Amber's like, "When do we go?" And Feyre, without even looking, like before, she would have looked to Tamlin and been like, "What do you think?" But she didn't. She was just like, "Tomorrow night, we're gonna."
We already know this. Like, let's do it.
She's like, "We're gonna note the guards' rotations tonight at low tide, and then we're gonna go." And Rhys is like, "You think like an Illyrian," and I'm like, "Yeah." Like, finally, someone is recognizing her.
That she's got skills in some sort.
Yes, and like valuable input, like.
Mm-hmm. And at the very bottom of the page, it says, "Amren's lips were blood red in the moonlight. I knew who would have the task of taking out any spying eyes and wind up with a meal. My mouth dried out a little bit. Care for a stroll?" Amren's just like, food.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh," her mouth is watering. Oh my gosh.
She's so excited for it and ready to go. So on the top of 3, that's all I had for chapter 30.
Me too.
So chapter 36, I am honestly at this point kind of over the self-pity crap. I'm back and forth with it. I know there's like a lot of trauma dealt with during this time, but I'm also, I think, at a stage in my life where it's like, that's not doing any good.
Right.
It's literally just hindering you. Like, I do that from time to time, but I bounce out of it really quickly because I just sit there and I'm like, well, what is that doing in my life? Nothing. And I'm like, it's not, there's nothing there.
Exactly. It's like that whole saying that's like, it's okay to sit down and cry sometimes. You just have to get back up. Like,
right.
It's okay to like have those feelings, feel them, but then you have to move on. Like, you can't just sit there and wallow, which I think is where so many people like say Feyre is whiny. And I agree. Feyre gets on my damn nerves. But
for sure,
from the last book to this book, she's so much better.
Yeah, she's grown a lot.
Even from the beginning of this book till now, like getting her away from Tamlin has been great for her character development because Jesus Christ. But I also said something about that when you're like talking about self-pity. I literally said, get it together, Feyre. Once you save their asses again, they'll thank you. Because she's like, Tarquin's gonna hate me because he trusts me right now and I'm gonna steal his book and blah, 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 blah. But like, yes, you're gonna do that. That's gonna happen. But then once you've saved the world again, I think they'll get over it. Especially Tarquin, because he seems very like open-minded and trusting.
Right.
Like, honestly, if they would talk to him about it, just him, not the other two, not Cressida and whatever his name is, Varian. But I feel like if Feyre had talked to Tarquin, he might have been able to be brought around. It would have taken too long.
Right. So I get it. Yeah.
But
seeing at this point too, because she's just like, when Tarquin kissed my cheek goodnight, saying he wished that it was not my last evening, perhaps he would see about visiting the night court soon. I almost fell to my knees to beg for forgiveness. And then like Rhysand's hand was on her back for a solid warning to keep it together. And so then she went back to her room and found Illyrian fighting leathers waiting for her along with the belt of Illyrian knives. So I dressed for battle once again. And I'm just like, I'm over it.
Well, and not only that, like, but you asked for this. You asked to be included. You asked to help. So quit bitching about it. Like, you got what you wanted, but now you're bitching about getting what you want. Like, I can't with you, Feyre.
Yeah, so I'm just like, what is happening? Yeah. So, yeah, at that point, I was just like, oh, God, shut up.
So then on page 348, they're talking about the hiding spot and all that. And I was just like, this is such an odd hiding place. Like, there's no wards. There's no...
Yeah, the wards it's very smart because it's not visible.
Yeah.
But the lack of wards really just kind of...
But it all makes sense later.
Well, I guess if you can feel the wards, then they'd be like, well, what's hiding
right,
here?
like, what's there?
But then if you don't feel the wards, they're just like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, well, and once she gets in there, it makes sense that they didn't really need the wards because...
The book is fucking psychotic.
Right, the book was like, bitch, you a lie. So...
Liar. Bitch, you a lie. Anyway.
Oh, and then 349, they put her, like, she's like trial by fire right now. She's just in there having to use her fucking powers. Like, she literally figures out how to open the door. Like, she figures out how to make the door believe that she's Tarquin to let her in, and then she shifts into him. Like, all of a sudden,
which is really weird.
Like, it's just like, maybe they should put her in more high stress situations
because she's at her best.
Clearly what works for her.
Yeah.
Which I get, because that's how I am too. Like,
fight or flight response.
Yeah, like, I am great under pressure usually. Mm-hmm. Like, that's when I get the most things done.
But once that pressure is gone, that's when you're just like,
oh yeah, once the pressure's gone, I'm gonna go to sleep. And then cry and then sleep some more.
Deal with it then, yeah. I wrote 2 things for this page. I am wondering if The old rulers. Would the old rulers be dictators?
I feel like
Because
the current one's kind of
well, yeah, but like Tarquin is always like trying for change and trying to do that. So like, I don't know how far back I would go, but I mean, would they be dictators in this sense?
It seems like it just because of like all the tradition and the different things, like the tithe and specifically the spring court and the autumn court. Really, what we know of it, it seems like they're very like
set in their values and ways. Yeah, they're very American. Let's see. Oh, and then I put I'm struggling with Feyre's stupidity right now because Amren so they're up to the door is sealed, no one's been there for a very long time, and Amren nodded. I would not be surprised if, despite the imprint of the High Lord's power, Tarquin and his predecessors had never set foot here, if the blood spell toward this place instantly transferred to them once they assumed power. She says, why covet the book then? And like at this point I'm just like, seriously, like, you know what this book can do? It can nullify the cauldron, the maker of the entire fucking world. We covet the book then. What the fuck?
Right.
Seriously? And so then she's like, wouldn't you want to lock away an object of terrible power so no one could use it for evil or their own gain, or perhaps they locked it away for their own bargaining chip if it ever became necessary? I had no idea why they, of all courts, were granted half the book in the first place. But then it's like, the fact that she had to remind you,
right? Like, just
frustrates me.
Well, and like, not only that, but like, they're such a culture steeped in tradition. So if their forefathers coveted the book, they're going to covet the book. Like, that's just how it goes. You know, we covet the fucking Liberty Bell because that's what we were told to do. That's our history.
Right.
So
and here we are. Like, seriously?
Right. Also, page 351, I wrote, she's like, Feyre points at the door and she's like, it's in there. And Amren's like, obvious. And I'm just like, oh my god, yes, Amren.
So on page 350, just before that, Amren's so fucking funny.
She really is.
So, anyways, they're talking about the power filling the chamber, her head, her lungs smothering and drowning and seducing. Quickly, I said, and a small ball of feylight shot down the curve of the stairs, illuminating gray, worn steps slick with slime. I drew my honey knife and descended, one hand braced on the freezing stone wall to keep from slipping. I made it one rotation down, Amren close behind, before feylight danced on waist-deep, putrid water. I scanned the passage at the foot of the stairs. There's a hall and a chamber beyond that, all clear. And it's funny because she's the one who's saying quickly, but she's stopping to like describe what she's seen. And then Amren goes, then hurry the hell up. And it was just so funny because I'm just like, yeah, Feyre, God,
right. That's so when we watch movies or TV shows all the time and like something super fucking dramatic happens and they're like, we have to do this so fast. And then they stand there and argue about it for 20 minutes. I'm like, just fucking do it. Like, what? Why are we standing here talking about it?
It's in there, obviously. Get the fuck down there.
Exactly. It irritates the shit out of me.
See, Amren is so relatable.
Yes, she really is. Oh my god.
Oh man, that's good times. Good times.
Yeah, and then literally on page 352, all I wrote was, oh shit. Because, you know, Feyre gets the door open, she gets in there, she picks up the book or whatever.
I really want to know how the book whispers, like how they're going to do that for like the show.
That would be interesting.
Because
an ancient cruel voice hissed, liar, and the door slammed shut. So when she actually touched the book, like the box that the book was in, the book was like, you're a liar. So like it let her get all the way in, pretending to be Tarquin, and then it was like, nope, you're a liar.
I wonder if it knew all along, and it was just like, you know, like the Venus flytrap
kind of thing,
I feel where like... it's just like, I'm yummy and delicious. Come see me. Just kidding.
Yeah, like I feel like it's one of those things, like you know how in Harry Potter and Gringotts, like if anybody other than a goblin tries the whole finger thing on the high security vaults, they'll get sucked into the thing. And he's like, we only check every 3 years or whatever. And it's like, that's what it is. Like, you can get in, it'll let you in.
You can't
get
get
back
out.
So now you're trapped there.
Yeah. And it's Amber's just like, come on, like hurry up. I'm not trying to fucking die down here. I want this book. And then that's so great. Liar.
Oh my gosh.
And then next comes some hell.
Yes, chapter 37. Ooh. I have, well, no, not too much. I literally wrote, yikes, I'm triggered because like drowning or being trapped in like one of my worst nightmares, I have a recurring nightmare that I drive over a hill and the hill like very quickly ends in water. And I'm stuck in the car with like a small child and can't get out and like I'm drowning. And so drowning is one of my worst nightmares. So the idea of this, like, I'm pretty sure I read like multiple pages and then went back and took notes because I was like, like,
I know I struggled. I don't struggle writing notes, but I struggle like getting swamped into the like the story, and then I like read the whole chapter and then I stop and realize I didn't write a damn thing. So then I have to go back and read it because I was so engulfed into it, and that's probably why I don't have a lot.
Right.
That's probably why I'm behind on reading too. Damn it. Anyways, yeah, it's terrifying. I have this thing, everyone's just like, well, why don't you just unplug your nose and just breathe out your nose? And it's like, listen, I can't do that. I love swimming. I love doing anything. But the moment I go underwater and my nose comes, like, I undo my nose, whether I go in with it plugged or unplugged, whatever, it does not matter. I will literally be under the water and water immediately gushes into my nose. And then I just panic.
Yeah, I just panic under the water in general. So when I was in the swim team in high school, I struggled to swim the longer races because being in the water and like for that long was terrifying.
Right.
Like, not that I couldn't swim or that I couldn't see the bottom or any of those phobias. I just like having to do the like turn my head and breathe and all that for that long was terrifying.
Right. And it's like it didn't matter. Every single time I would turn to breathe out or do whatever, whenever I would like swim laps, like at swim lessons or something like that, I would be like, like hyperventilating. And they were just like, just calm down. But then the moment I stop and I'm like up above, I'm fine. It's just as soon as I go under, like I can't breathe out. Like my body just stops working.
Yeah. It's terrifying.
So yeah, I completely get that. So yes, that is absolutely terrifying. And you know, honestly, I kind of wonder too if so the way it was described, they literally walked through the water. So like they swam through the water, like murky, gross, putrid water, whatever. And then as soon as they hit the door, they like, there was no water in there. So they had to like step out of it. So I kind of wonder if they waited until like the next day.
Right.
The next day for them to, I don't know, do low tide again. If they could have survived that.
That's a thought for sure.
Because I mean, if there's no water in there and no water came through, then it's magically induced.
Right. It's an interesting thought. I don't know.
Just trying to think out of this world here. But anyways, yes. So
also, this is how engrossed I was in this book, because usually I am very good at like being like, oh well, this is what's gonna happen. This is how they're gonna get out of it.
Right.
But in this one, I was like, first of all, Amren wanted Feyre to leave on page 354. Amren like gets the door open, and they both get out the door of the original room with the book in it. And Amren's like, go, like telling Feyre to go on without her, and like obviously Feyre doesn't do that. She grabs her and like brings her with her, and I'm just like, I literally wrote, I'm glad there's so many more books so I know they get out of this. Because like Yeah.
Right. Well, and here's the thing too. On that same exact page, Amren used her powers. She literally used something like some type of power or whatever, to where, what is it? Ah, yeah, here we go. But Amren held out a palm in front of us, and the water buckled and trembled. Not a clear path, but a break in the current. And it's like I thought her powers were hidden.
Yeah.
I thought the whole point of her being in this Fey body was that she, like, her original powers were gone.
Maybe they're just dampened, like.
Oh, like how it was under the mountain?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or maybe she's got another fucking amulet. I'm still mad about that.
One that doesn't actually work.
But this is what I mean when I was like, usually I was really shocked because normally things like this don't surprise me. I usually see them coming. But then the water wraiths show up.
Oh, right? Yeah.
Like the water wraiths show up, and
Thank
that's how they get
God.
out.
Thank God she was, nice and went against Tamlin's orders.
Right. And then, like, they get her out. They get Amren out. They bring him to the, like, shore.
Yeah.
Or not to the shore, but they bring them to, like, where the water is calm. And they say, our sister's debt is paid. And then they disappear while Amren is, swimming towards the shore, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just cracking up because, like, again, I felt like I should have seen that coming. Like, I don't know where my mind was when I was reading this.
Well, here's the thing. When you see something, you don't assume that it's all over Prithian. You think it's just like the Illyrians are only in the Night Court.
Right.
So, like, what if the Water Wraiths were only in the Spring Court?
Right.
And that's why I was thinking it. So, like, when they showed up, I was like, oh, so it's like...
they're everywhere.
Terrifying, but
yeah. Yeah, for real. And then Amren, like, fucking, I love Amren. She
literally about killed herself, and she just gets pissed off at Reese as soon as he sees her.
Yeah, she starts yelling at Reese, and then she's like, so on 356, when she's like given hell to Reese, I was like, I love Amren. And then 357, I was like, I fucking love Amren, because then she's like, where she laughs. Yeah, she's like, how? She looks at Feyre and says, how? And Feyre's like, during the tithe, the Water Wraith emissary had no gold, blah, 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 blah. So I gave her some jewelry, and she'd never forget. They'd repay the kindness. And Amren just starts laughing. And Feyre's like, what? And she's like, only an immortal with a mortal heart would have given one of those horrible beasts the money. It's so... And then she starts laughing, and she can't even, like, stop laughing. Whatever luck you live by, girl, thank the cauldron for it. And then I feel like, it just, like, those situations when you're with a friend, and, like, you start laughing, you're both giggling, and then when you look at each other, you just, like, start laughing again, right? You can't stop. That's what I imagine here between Feyre and Amren. And Reese is just like, what the fuck is happening?
I feel like Amren is me in certain situations. That's like, how the fuck did I survive this? Today at acting class, we were talking, we worked on, like, being scared and, like, that fight or flight moment, like, when you get into a car wreck, or, like, knowing, I don't know, things are real, kind of like survival kind of feelings. And the other girl who was with me was like, I'm that person who never ever, like, thinks, I always think things are bad ideas because I worry about what could happen, what is going to happen. And I was like, I'm that person that has, been that person who thought of stupid ideas, has conducted those stupid ideas, and somehow has not fucking died. So I feel like I'm Amren in these situations, because it's just like, how the hell am I still here?
Right, like, what just happened?
Knock on wood, I've never broken a bone. Like, I've gotten to wrecks. I've done a lot of things. Like, knock on wood, never had stitches. Like, it's just... how the fuck have I made it this long without getting all that, with all the stupid ideas I've done? So I just feel like I laugh. I mean, when I'm in pain or whatever, I laugh. I just,
Fair.
What the fuck is wrong with me?
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I don't have anything until 360.
Just on 359, they're like, Moore asks what language is that, and Amryn says it's no language of this world, and that's when I was like, oh, no language of this world. It's Amryn's world.
One of them. There's a. It's kind of weird too because she's just talking to the book, but no one around can like hear what the book's saying. So I'm staring at her like she's kind of fucking insane,
right? Because the book's like, "Hello, liar."
Hello.
And people are like, who the fuck
will you read me? No.
And
say please.
Oh my god. And they're like, who the fuck? What the
right.
fuck? Is she okay? Like,
and then Cassian goes, I never want to hear that voice again. Which I want to hear.
Right. Same.
Like, what kind of voice? I also want to hear the Ator's voice.
Yeah.
It's like nails on a chalk. Oh, and the cereal.
Yes.
I want to hear those voices. Yeah. I think that'd be.
I feel like they're not going to do them justice.
No. Do they ever?
No, they don't.
I will watch a 7-hour movie if it's word for word, just like the book.
I would too. Well,
dear God.
I feel like when you do it as a TV series, you have the opportunity to do that, but they still fail every time. Every time.
True. I mean, I understand, like, with movies. Have you ever seen that, like, analogy where you take, like, a book and then you put, like, a CD on it and then you, like mark where the CD outline would be, and then you cut around the book or whatever, and that's what's the movie. I'm like, God, that is so true.
It is. That's so accurate.
But like when I heard it was going to be a TV series, I was like, oh, this is going to be good because like each season could be one book.
Yeah, but even the TV, like the few TV series I've watched lately that have been based on books are still like deviate so far from the books, and sometimes it's done in like for example, Bridgerton. They do it.
There's a lot of books of that too.
Yeah, well, and they do one season per book, but they change things for the sake of diversity.
Right.
Which I get, and I see where Shonda Rhimes is going with that, and I like the show. But some of what they do in the show, I feel like ruins some of the characters in the book. Not going to do any spoilers, but specifically one character that I'm really disappointed in the way that she's being portrayed and the way her story is going so far is Penelope Featherington. It's really disappointing to me, and I don't like it. Still a great show, but the other one is Shadowhunters.
I've heard about that, yeah.
The Mortal Instruments books are so rich in detail, and there's so much like lore that you have to understand that they don't go into in the movie or the TV show. And I'm just like, plus I really don't like the actress they had to play Clary. Like, I felt like Clary's more of a badass.
Who was it?
I don't remember what her name is, but she's a great actress. She's just not Clary Fairchild.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe just didn't embody.
Yeah. So
let's see who played Shadowhunters. It's clearly I can't spell correctly.
Yeah, that girl,
Catherine
McNamara. Yeah, Catherine McNamara. That's what her name is. She's great. I've seen her in other things, and I like her. And I even liked her in this show. But she's just like, reading the book and hearing the description of Clary Fairchild and then seeing Catherine McNamara, I was like, no.
Oh, she was in Arrow.
Yes, she's in a lot of things. And I think she was one of the people I picked for our fan castings for maybe Elaine. I don't remember. But she's too sweet and all of that to play a character like Clary Fairchild, and I was disappointed.
She played Mia Smoke in Black Canary, I think it is. In Arrow.
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't got to that season yet because I have fucking no idea who that is.
I don't know. I haven't watched
Mia Smoke. Oh, no. Mia.
I don't watch that show, so I don't know.
I was going to say, oh my God, that's her daughter. But then I was like, wait a second. Never mind. I don't know. Anyways.
My last thing for this chapter was just on 361. There's just a whole bunch of sexual tension.
Oh my God, so much.
And I'm just like, they just need to go ahead and get it on already. Because the buildup is slowly killing me. So.
Right. On 360, I put 10,000 years is a long time. Because Reese is like, yeah, this book might send you home. And I think previously, if not on this page, it talks about how long she's been here. 10,000 years in exile alone, away from everybody and all your family and friends and people in like the world that you knew before. So then it's like,
right. Well,
whoa.
and part of it's like, do you even want to go back at that point?
Right.
Like, are they still going to be there? Is the world even still there? Like,
Yeah.
what's changed? What's happened? Like,
10,000 years.
Yeah.
And here's the thing though, if you can survive 10,000 years, would her people still be there?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Although, isn't she the only one?
she's the only one in this world.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
So, like, I don't know. But, like, that's one of those things that would be, like, a decision you have to make. Because now you have this new family here. Like, do you go back to the place where you were exiled from?
And it's, like, not even, like...
with the chance that it might still be the same?
Right? And it's not even, like... you were exiled on purpose.
Right.
Like, you didn't do anything bad. You literally just walked through a portal, essentially.
Right. And if there's really that much power in that world, has no one been trying to get you back? Like, I don't know. That's where my mind goes. It's like, I don't know if I would even want to go back. But also, if I had been like this all-powerful being and now I was stuck in this tiny little girl's body, I would be like, I don't know. Lots of things happening there.
But terrifying.
That's the last thing I have for chapter 37.
I do like how they try to bring back the what is it? The quote that I said earlier to the dreams that are answered. And then it's funny because you think it's going to be something like sexy or sexual or whatever, and because it's like a sensual caress, and then all it is to the huntress to remember to reach back for those less fortunate, and water race who swim very, very fast. It's like, yeah, race. Yeah, you got this. You got it.
You fight good.
Oh, shang. Setting realistic men choices.
Oh my
Since
god.
it's Inception.
So, break time. We went a little over before we got to our break. But a couple episodes ago, we did some guess the character things. There were two of them. The first one was Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't remember the order that we did them.
Well, one of them was Spider-Man, and the other one was
Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker. So, nobody commented on anything to make guesses, but we thought you might want to know the answer. Also, if anyone pays any attention to pop culture whatsoever.
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Oh my gosh. For the third time, yes, that is my signature.
Listen, I don't know how much money that lawyer is getting paid, but she needs to get her money back.
Oh my god. Like,
I know the evidence is horrible against her and it's not going well, but also like,
but he just keeps like stumbling over his words, and like he literally, if you watch the clip,
objection,
that same question 6 times in a span of like 5 minutes. It's like, sir, seriously?
Right. Well, and I think the best part is that he's known for like saying objection, hearsay to every single thing anyone has ever said. But he literally was like, how did you hear about this?
Right.
He literally asked a hearsay question. And he was just like, I heard he got it from blah, 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 or whatever. Yeah. And he was like, objection, hearsay. The judge is like, you asked the question.
Yes. And then the other thing that I was cracking up was when they were like, would you say, or you're much bigger than Miss Heard, right? And he was like, I wouldn't say that, no. And her face was like, she was like, but really he's not. Like, no. If you look at them standing together in all of the red carpet photos, I mean, I know she's wearing heels, but she's actually the same height, if not taller than him in most of the photos.
Yeah.
And he's not like a big dude. So.
And it's not like she wears like 7-inch heels.
Right. And she's not like, I mean, she plays in action movies too. She's not like some little wispy girl. She's fit, and it's just funny. The whole thing is just hilarious. And that lawyer, oh my gosh. I don't like, did Aquaman not pay enough, honey? Like, are you okay? Did you just think that you were going to walk in and everything was going to be fine?
he's 5'10" and she's 5'7".
Right. Like, that's not that big of a difference.
And I know some people are like, well, this is horrible, or this is that, like kind of going back and forth with it. And I'm like, I get some people are like, well, he's just as toxic, or he's just as this. And then other people are like all about Johnny Depp. And it's like, I get it. But like how she portrayed him literally ruined his career.
Yeah.
And there's not enough evidence to say he did any of this stuff, because like a makeup brand called her out after she said, this is all I used to cover up the bruises that I was used in an abusive relationship. And he's just like, what abuse? And the makeup's like, it wasn't out until this time. And it's like, if you were accusing somebody of this and it wasn't him, you would have corrected everybody. Like, no, not Johnny. Like,
right.
No. But you didn't even like come to his defense or anything like that. And then it's just how you're portraying him is absolutely fucking horrible. Toxic femininity. And a lot of people are saying that it's the same as Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah, I've seen that comparison too. I don't think it's fair to compare Jada to her, because I don't think Jada is... I mean, I don't know what goes on in their home, but I don't think that Jada actually abuses Will physically.
I don't think it's that way. I think it's the mental, like, I'm going to go out with other guys. I'm going to show the world that I'm happy with this person, but then I have a husband at home. Yeah. Although there's speculation that they have an open relationship.
I've heard that as well.
But they've never, it's kind of one of those things like.
They've never publicly.
And if they have, I haven't read it.
Same. I don't know as much about that situation. But this one is all I've seen for the past week.
Right. The defamation.
Yeah. And I'm just like, are you really, like, you are making yourself look like such an idiot.
Honestly. And then the face that she makes throughout the entire court thing. My favorite is when they go to the judge. They just like put on the judge, and the judge is like looking around dumbfounded, like, what? Why did I pick this case? Yeah. Like, why am I here?
Yes. It's like, yeah, I can't even. She's just, I feel like her lawyer is like proving all the points against her.
Oh, yeah. And then when Johnny just starts laughing.
Yeah.
When he's sitting at his like little area when they're talking about everybody else. And he just starts losing his mind sitting there. Like, why is this guy?
Or when he starts to answer the question and then goes, hearsay.
And he's just like, oh, okay. So then he says it again. He stops, and then everyone looks at him. He goes, no hearsay. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then he keeps going. And then
hearsay.
And then he's like, puts his finger up. There it
is. Yes. Oh my gosh.
It's so comical.
And so if you haven't seen this, or if you don't know about this, you should definitely look it up. Even just go on like TikTok and search it. Because like it's just hilarious.
Will doesn't have Facebook. I see all of it on Facebook, but he's been showing me clips, and I think they're from TikTok. So.
Yeah. And yeah. Just
TikTok's probably more funny though. I think Facebook shows like the actual like live feed.
Yeah, TikTok just shows like little clips. But I've seen both. I've seen things on Facebook and things on TikTok, but they both are like just ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous.
I'm really excited though to like hear her side.
I'm excited for the Netflix movie deal that's going to come out of all of this.
That's true.
This is going to be one of those spoof movies, and they're going to have like, what's the girl that was in Ghostbusters, the blonde girl?
Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon play Amber Heard. Like, I'm here for it.
Please, I want Johnny Depp to come as Johnny Depp.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Cameo.
I'm here for it because it's gonna be so funny. And like I want them to do it in the same style as like the Ted Bundy tape.
Yes,
like
that'd be so good.
That's what I need to happen. And I want them to use the exact fucking like transcripts from it could be like a mini series. I don't care if it's 20 hours long or even longer. I want the exact transcripts from the court to be used because they're fucking hilarious. Anyway, I digress. That was a really long break because...
Well, at this rate, we might as well just stop the episode.
That's true, because I have a lot written down for chapter 38.
I don't have a lot.
I have like a page and a half, like this whole page. And then like half of this page. So that's probably a good place to stop. For this
I'm not even halfway. Well, I think I'm halfway through 39, but I didn't finish it.
I finished 38.
I was trying to read in between times I was on the stage
39.
at my play, and
Yeah, you know, you've had a busy week.
it's just, I'm tired.
So, yeah, we can stop there for this week. That was quite a bit. We got through a few chapters, like 4 or 5 chapters. 5, 1,
34.
5, 6, 37, 38. Well, we didn't get through 4. Jesus, we are horrible. We were like, we're going to get through more chapters today. We're going to make it happen. Never happens.
Nope.
So anyway, that's it, witches. We will see you.
I broke a nail.
Damn it, I hate that.
Oh, guess gotta break it off now. Anyways.
We'll see you next week, or hear you next week, I guess. Bye.
Bye.